another exciting episode of The Debater. We moved in forward through the quarterfinals. We're discussing topics that are heated, topics that are pertinent, and things that are sensitive to both you and I. Following the trend, the topic that will be discussed here today and battled out for you is whether or not private universities should be established in Sri Lanka. And we have a proposition with us today that has been extremely intelligent and tactful in the debating techniques that they have used thus far. Now, proposition for today will be Sahara College, Matale. We also have with us an opposition that has been able to make its mark as one of the most competitive teams within the debating competition. Introducing to you your opposition for today, Lice International School, Nugegala. Without further ado, let me introduce to you our eminent panel of judges who will be making the decision of the debate today. We have with us Professor Pratibha Mahanamaheva, and he is currently the Commissioner of the Human Rights Commission. We also have with us Dr. Vivamari van der Poten, and she is currently a Senior Lecturer at the Department of Language Studies at the Open University. We also have with us Mr. Hussein Musaji, and he is a Corporate Training and Development, and he's also the immediate past President of the Colombo Toastmasters Club. And we have with us an observer for today to ensure that the debate goes according to the rules and procedure. We have with us Mr. Faris Ismail, and he is the CEO of Achievers, and he's also an advisory council member for the World Education Congress. Ready to move on to round one, the opening statements. This will be a chance for both the proposition and the opposition to establish their arguments, to set a foundation upon which their future debate will depend on. Proposition, the floor is now yours.
Hi, this is Ilham Sadiq. I'm the first speaker of our team. We wish Lyceum all the very best and hope we too do the best. Honorable judges, learned oppositions, and my dear friends, a good day to all of you. Topic in hand, private universities should be established in Sri Lanka. We live in Sri Lanka, the pearl of Indian Ocean. One significant factor of Sri Lanka throughout the years has been free education. Over the years, free education has produced many worthy citizens to the country who have uplifted the standard of the nation. And I, being a product of free education, am always indebted to the father of free education, Dr. C.W.W. Kanangara, and his worthy cause. But my dear friends, this is the 21st century. Comparing today to Kanangara's era, there is a much greater demand for educated university-educated employees. And as of 2010, according to UJC, there are 142,415 students who are eligible for public university entrance, but only 17.2% are given admission. Why? Is it not because the government cannot afford it? If so, what would you suggest we do with the 80% left behind? Also, what about the number of students who do well in international qualifications like London A-levels? Send them all abroad perhaps? So according to UJC, there are 15 universities in Sri Lanka, and the courses followed here are very few. And in fact, we don't have degrees on tourism, degrees on marine engineering, so on and so forth. And also the available courses don't produce enough graduates to cater the need of the country. For example, Sri Lanka is nowhere closer to the WHO recommended one doctor per thousand population ratio. So, don't you think this would be a problem to the nation? Okay, our neighboring country, India, has over 3,000 universities, which is 10 times the number of state universities, and are reaping the benefits of this coexistence. So, do you think... so what are your alternatives on this? Thank you.
Hi, I'm Somi, and I'm the first speaker of the opposition, and I can assure you this is going to be a game worth watching. A very good day, honourable panel of judges, members of the opposition, proposition, and worthy listeners. We oppose this motion based on three main arguments. The first being the obligation of the state to provide higher education. We as opposition believe that each and every state has a positive obligation to both facilitate and provide the right of education to all its citizens, since it is currently being given quite a high priority in both the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights as well as the International Convention on Social and Economic Rights. Our second argument being how private universities lead to discrimination based on financial status. We as opposition believe that education must be accessible and affordable to all without any sort of discrimination. Yet, we see that there are certain criteria for the acceptance of students into private universities which are almost exclusively based on economic capabilities as well as social demographies. Therefore, the less affluent masses will not have access to private universities. Our third argument being the consequences of this motion both in the long term and in the short term. What will happen is that the government will lose incentive to fulfill their obligation of providing state-funded higher education. When the best lecturers move from public universities to private universities based on monetary benefits, the quality of education provided by public universities will deteriorate. And thus, this will result in private university degree holders monopolizing the job market. Thus, the poor will be left with either low-quality education or no higher education at all. We propose as a solution is that there should be better funding and more investment in public universities itself, since we believe that merit is indeed a better standard than financial status. And we as opposition, we believe that private universities should not be established in Sri Lanka.
Conclusion of the opening statements, we're ready to move on to round 2, the face-off round. As you might be knowing, the format is different. It's more challenging, it's more intense and more tough for the competitors. What will happen here is that the selected member from each team will face off the points of information directed to him or her by 2 members of the other team. Proposition, opposition, the floor is now yours.
Hi, I'm Sharif Mihlar from Zahra College, Matale. We're looking forward to an exciting debate. The fate, we take it come what may. We wish Lyceum the best of luck because we're going to give it all we got. Peace out, people. Honorable judges, learned opposition, members of the House, and all of you tuned in today. A very good day to all of you. Resolve, private universities should be established in Sri Lanka. Let me start off by saying that the first opposition speaker conveniently forgot to answer our questions, and moving on to rebut some of our points. Yes, it is a government obligation to provide education. At the same time, the government should be able to do so. And currently, I don't think that is happening, and I'll prove it to you. Why not? And privileges factor. Think about the 84% students who are sitting back at home because they cannot enter the university since there is no enough resources. Yes, ma'am.
So do you believe that most of the private universities do not accept students on the basis of merit, that 85% will be able to qualify if they do not have the sufficient amount of funds?
Thank you for your point, ma'am. Look, funds, yes. What about loans? What about insurance schemes? And what about scholarships? And also, again, it's a large number of students. And those who can afford it should be given the opportunity. Yes, sir.
So you talk about scholarships and loans and such the ways in which you can help students, but are you proposing that private universities fund the entire 84% population who didn't get into the public universities? Is that the proposal brought up by proposition?
Investments can be brought in, and that will help the students. And also the lecturers factor. Let me finish my point, ma'am. The lecturers factor. Our lecturers are patriotic people, and if they had to go in search of money, they would have left the country by now, because foreign countries obviously provide more money, but these lecturers don't do so, and they're actually fighting for the fact that the GDP should be increased to 6%. Yes, ma'am.
So do you realize, you talk about student loans, currently student defaults in loan defaults in UK and USA are increasing from 4.0% to 4.6%, showing that it's a burden on students. How can students of a developing country like Sri Lanka afford to pay back these loans?
Again, we can bring out regulations from the government to help the students. and you keep being on focusing on these loans, then think about the 84% of the students. What are they going to do? What is their future? What will the future hold for them? Yes, sir.
So have you heard of TVET institutes, training and vocational education centers, in which these other 84 students can go to because they did not have the merit to get into public universities?
They did not have the merit to go into public universities. They are proven by the government, by the Z-score system, that they can enter the public universities. But and also the needs of the world, the needs of the nation. Look, yeah, Sri Lanka should provide to the nation, to our nation, but also we should provide to the world as well. Look at this article. 416,000 new pilots, 601,000 aircraft technicians are needed. But Sri Lanka is unable to provide these kind of degrees. Yes, ma'am.
So don't you believe the solution to that is not investing in low quality in education like a private university, but instead it is to widen the public education system?
Like I said, to widen the public education system, you need funds, you need investments, and that cannot happen, madam, because the government is unable to do so. And also the quality factor. Look, you need Usain Bolt and Tyson Gay to run in the race to smash a world record. And that is what we are saying. Bring in private sector, private universities and public universities. And this will prove quality education. For competition will compel public universities and private universities to move in a good direction that will benefit the education system in Sri Lanka. And, brothers, 6 million is spent by average student going abroad. So this currency should be brought into Sri Lanka.
Hello, I'm Kavin Ratnavira. I'm the second speaker for this debate, and I'm looking forward to a very good day. A very good day to the Honourable Panel of Judges, members of side proposition and side opposition. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to my first substantive, which is regarding accountability. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what is accountability? It is when a party involved is answerable to the actions they take. And we believe that in this case is both social and legal accountability. Yes, sir, your question.
As far as the accountability is concerned, the private university and the public university will have to account to an apex institute which is called the Quality Control and Accreditation Board of Sri Lanka.
Thank you, sir, for making that statement, and I'll take that as a question. Yes, if you're asking me about how accountable the Apex Board is, or how accountable these two different entities are, that's exactly what I'm about to speak to you about. We, ladies and gentlemen, on Team Lyceum, believe that social and legal accountability are two completely different things, and that both public and private universities will be legally accountable. But what's more important when it comes to education, ladies and gentlemen, is the social accountability, because we need to be socially responsible towards the children who are following this education. Yes, sir, your question.
Private universities will have to cater to the needs of the corporate world and to provide the expectations of the parents who send the children in. So they will have to naturally maintain quality. Isn't that a social quality which you're like?
Sir, we believe that again is more of a profit motive and incentive for these profit-seeking organizations to barely keep to the minimum requirements in order to maintain their profit margins. This is in no way of them being socially accountable. You've misinterpreted this definition completely. Yes, sir, your question.
Sir, private schools and public schools, take that into consideration. And private schools, if they don't maintain the quality, obviously the students won't go there. And this is the same thing in case of private universities.
Exactly.